Welcome to Off-Grid Victory. So yeah, I finally laid out my chestnut trees and cleared what I need to, but I ran into this guy, which is going to involve, you see that tree over there in between all these planted trees? Well, that tree has to go. Now, it's a decent sized tree. I would say roughly it has a 10-inch diameter, something like that. And normally I would just take a chainsaw to it, but I was thinking in a SHTF type of scenario where, like recently, you can't get gasoline, let's say, or the fuel to use or run your chainsaw. What do? Well, you go back to the basics, right? You use a hand saw. And yeah, we can go back to the turn of the century, but we have better tools, especially for one-man operations. And that's this guy right here. So yeah, that's the Silky Katana Boy. This is the 650 model. And here's the 650 model. There you go. Katana Boy 650. And I'm going to demonstrate how I'm going to get rid of that tree with this saw. And so yeah, let's get to it. All right, so I'm going to take the Silky saw, and what I'm going to do is perform a Humboldt cut for felling this tree. Yeah, it took a little bit of getting used to this blade, because it is such a beast, and yeah, it's I forgot it's a Japanese pull saw, i.e. you got to pull it, and it doesn't really cut on both directions. So anyway, I made that first cut. It made a pretty nice cut there. As you can see, the wedge. I'm doing a Humboldt. So now I'm going to go ahead and come back. I actually cut about a third into it, made my direct horizontal, and then a wedge up. And that's the start of a Humboldt. And I'm going to go ahead and cut about an inch over like that above, so it'll hinge off. And hopefully it'll go that way into the field and not onto any of these trees that I just planted, like so, or into the brush where it's going to be harder for me to manipulate. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get started on the back horizontal cut. And for right now, it's safe to walk in front of the wedge cut, but you definitely don't want to do that after you start cutting into the holding material, holding wood. Alrighty. All right, so directionally I want to control that cut to go that way. Two additional pieces of material you're going to need, or tools you're going to need with your Katana Boy to do a manual cut of larger timber is an axe. This is just a hatchet because I just need to set a wedge. And you want to set that wedge as early as possible. Now this wedge is probably a little too big for this, but that was the sharpest wedge I had. So I want to control that wedge, not only so I can help it move the tree to fell it this way in that direction into the field, but also to make sure that my blade doesn't get pinched by the tree as it's falling back, because theoretically it could go that way too. Now, same procedure goes for a chainsaw. So you want to form a wedge as soon as possible, and at this point I'm not going to go in front of the front wedge that I made, because that's the direction it's going to fall. So I'm going to continue on with the Sulky, and hopefully I can document the fall, but if I don't, well, I don't, because I'd rather run out of the way and be safe than just documenting a tree felling, which YouTube has a lot of. So you might see me after that. Alrighty, so yeah, two more pieces of equipment, a wedge and an axe or a hatchet to set that in. And also, yeah, I use it to clean up my initial cut as well a little bit with that hatchet. Alrighty. Okay, so the tree is down, and down very safely, and precisely where I wanted to drop it, into my field. As you can see, no obstructions, clean fall. My trees over there, these guys are all looking happy, because he didn't get hit as well. So that was the obstruction there. And the other tree, the obstruction was there. And so, yeah, I have more trees over there. So anyway, yeah, I wanted to do a nice line into the wood line of my field here. And so, yeah, that's where I wanted to fell it. It had to go, unfortunately, but I feel like it will come back because I'm going to plant. I've planted 12 trees, took down basically one. So, at any rate, yes, the Katana Boy 650 did a pretty nice job. I mean, I kind of messed up on the cut here, the Humboldt. That hinge is a little too big, but hey, it still worked with the combination of the axe and the wedge. And so you could see how nice of a clean cut that Katana Boy makes. I didn't want to go lower and redo it. I could have, but you know, I'm not gonna lie, that Katana Boy, I'm not like Canadian Prepper with bulging muscles here. It took me a little while to do that and to get the hang of it and to pull it correctly and to draw out that material as I was cutting. Yeah, so Katana Boy 650, if you have one, don't be a prepper like me and just put it away. Use it. Just don't wait for a video like me to do a video and then use it. Go ahead and use it right away. Because yeah, in a SHTF scenario, when you can't have fuel, especially like recently with the gasoline shortages, I mean, you might have to resort to that. And so, yeah, you really want a good axe, or in this case, a hatchet, a wedge, and a Katana Boy to be able to manually down your trees. Now, this tree, as you can see here, I would say roughly this tree is about, let me back up here, it's probably a good 40 plus feet long. Yeah, and so it is a pretty big tree, and normally I would never attempt to do that with something like a handsaw, but it can be done, and especially an instrument like this Katana Boy, the Silky. It's made pretty well. It's Japanese made and engineered, and it does the job. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many cuts I can make with this guy, but judging from the reviews that other YouTubers made and the teeth design, I think it'll last for a very long time. And of course, yeah, in the meantime, I'll just be using chainsaws. I mean, I guess I can do a video for you guys using an axe alone, but I think we all know how to do that. But I thought it was important to show people how to stack wood, firewood specifically, if you lived in colder climates, and a means to kind of work through that SHTF scenario. Especially where we are in Ozarks, it doesn't get that cold, so yeah, you might get some you know, ice, frost on your beard and such at night if it gets really, really cold, but you can survive that. But in the northern climates, especially a prolonged period of time, you're gonna need firewood, you're gonna need a wood stove, and this is the way you would do it if you didn't have fuel. All right, so the Katana Boy Silky 650 did the job. I would recommend it. And also, if you have a two-man cross-cut saw, that would even be better. But in this case, it's just a one-man saw, and that works pretty well. Alrighty, hope you learned something from this. Shalom.